Hey everybody, Dan Henry here, and welcome to this masterclass on scaling your online course or digital product. Now, you're likely watching this because you have a course that may be selling, but it's not scaling. It's not selling as much as you'd like, and you want to scale. And that's exactly what this is going to help you do. So what we're going to cover is why most of you are misunderstanding what scaling actually means. And once you understand what scaling actually means, then you can begin to actually do it. But most people actually misunderstand what scale means, and that is why they have so much trouble. The next thing we're going to talk about is ad operations. Most people think that when it comes to scaling Facebook ads or even YouTube ads, it doesn't matter, that it's all about buttons and tech and, CBO and, all these tech things. But in reality, the things that have moved the needle the most, for me, scaling ads has really had little to do with Facebook changes, what buttons I press, new features, CBO versus this and that, blah, 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 and acronyms and all this stuff. Very, very little to do with it. And I'm going to cover what actually moves the needle in this second secret. And then I'm going to cover why most of you are doing a lack of nurturing. Most sales come after people have said no to your initial sequence, your initial webinar. There's so much money in that period after. I'm going to show you how we are able to pull so much profit out of our list and out of, people that have said no, but maybe on the fence. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing is misunderstanding scale. So most people think that they're spending, say, $100 a day, and they're like, all right, I'm spending $100 a day, but every time I try to scale, it falls apart. It doesn't matter if it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you're spending money on paid traffic, $100 a day is nowhere near scale. Okay, scale is $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a day. So when I look at people and I hear them and they say, well, Dan, I'm spending $100 a day, but for some reason my campaign falls apart at $200 a day or $300 or $400 or $1,000. The fact is you're not yet at scale. What scale means is that you have a product that you can spend a little bit of money and you can be very profitable. So scale means you spend a little bit of money, but you make back this much money. And when you scale, that margin shrinks. But because you're spending more, you make more in volume. So if I spent $100 a day and I made $500 back, that means I make a 5-to-1 return on ad spend, or ROAS. So I spent 100, I make 500 back. That's 5x. That's pretty good. But when I start to scale and I'm spending thousands per day, that 5x shrinks down to, say, 2x. So now I'm only making 2x. Now you might say, well, 2x is nowhere near as good as 5x. But the thing is if I spend $1,000 and I make $2,000, now I'm making $1,000 a day instead of $400 a day. Or if I spend $5,000 and I make $10,000 back, I'm making $5,000 a day at 2-to-1 versus $400 a day at 5-to-1. You see what I'm saying? So what this means is if you cannot spend a couple $100 a day at least at a minimum of a 4 to 5x return, you are nowhere near scaling. You have an issue with your offer because your offer should have a return that is 4 to 5 or more x at a low ad spend. When you scale, you will lose profit. That is just how this works, okay? So you have to have enough profit at a low spend to be able to spend more and shrink that profit, yet make more money. So if you're spending $100 a day and you're profitable, but then you spend $200 a day and you're not profitable, that is not a scaling issue. That's a your offer doesn't sell very good issue. Sorry, I know that sounds harsh, but that's the truth. We need to fix the offer to convert better and the ads to convert better, not worry about scaling. Scaling is when you have a 5-6x return at a few $100s a day, and now you want to spend a few thousand a day. That's scaling. So unless you understand that, you're going to try to scale and think it's a scaling issue when it's not. It's an offer issue. Okay? It's your business. So that said, and I promise you, I have seen this across the board time and time again with other people's offers, my offers. That is the truth. All right. So we need to get a good ROI at a low ad spend first. Then we can worry about scaling. So let's move on to secret number 2 here, ad operations. And this kind of ties into secret number 1. So the thing is, what makes ads work, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, especially the more you spend, is you have to have fresh angles, okay? Yes, there's little targeting tricks, and yes, there's these, different acronyms and all these new features, but at the end of the day, ads eventually burn out. The more money you spend, I don't care what method you use, I don't care. It's going to convert really good and then less good and then less good, and eventually it's not going to convert at all, and eventually it's going to cost you money. That's just how it works. So I learned a long time ago that if I can create more ads, more angles, I can always experience that initial freshness of an ad that gets me a high ROI because I always have another one in the pipeline. And on top of that, an ad that stops converting, that you shut off, a month or 2 later, if you turn it back on because you have a fresh audience coming in, it may convert again. Okay, we've turned off ads that were 3 months old that just were completely burned out. We turned them back on and they worked. This doesn't happen every time, but it happens enough to keep that in your back pocket. So the question is, how do you create more ad angles? So this is my personal system. What I do is I look at an everyday event in my life. I look at event in the news, doesn't matter what it is. And I think of an ad angle. I will then post it on Instagram with a picture associated with it. And I'll check out the engagement. If the engagement is good, I send it over to my media buyer and I say, run this as an ad, and we run it as an ad. And think about it this way. 16-year-old girls post 30 times a day on Instagram. Maybe you're watching this right now and you post at least once a day on Instagram. Imagine if you could come up with a brand new ad angle every day. There's something in your life every day that can happen that you can create an ad angle out of. Absolutely everything. You could grab this coffee cup, right? You could grab this coffee cup and you say, why will somebody pay $20 for this coffee cup when they'll only pay $2 for this coffee cup? Well, it's simple. This coffee cup has added way more value than this coffee cup because this coffee cup entertains you. It can be shown around. It can be used as a novelty, and it just makes people laugh. So let me ask you, how can you add value to your product to, make it more desirable, whatever? And then I could just go somewhere with that and tie it into selling online courses, which is my offer, and blah, blah, blah. Done. Okay? So the more you can look at your life and the more you can come up with different angles, the more fresh ads you will have. The more you will have ads that will convert. And let me tell you something. The longer copy, and I know everybody talks about short copy, the longer copy lasts longer, okay? A short copy ad will generally last me a couple weeks. A long copy ad will last me a couple months, all right? So again, if fresh ads create a high ROI and then eventually they burn out, then why not just create more fresh ads? Number 3, the lack of nurture, all right? So this is what I call the fence method. This is very, very misunderstood. Let's map this out real quick. So let's say you have let's use blue ink here. So let's say you have a Facebook ad, okay? Here's your Facebook ad, right? Here's your ad, and that goes to, a webinar funnel, right? Here's your whole webinar funnel, right? Now, at this point, you've paid, I don't know, $5 for this lead, whatever it is, and you got them to watch your webinar. Now, after, or whatever your funnel is, after this, there's 3 potential scenarios. There is, yes, I will buy, and they buy. There is, hell no, and they're just never going to buy. They did not resonate with your offer. They don't want it. They don't need, no. And then there is maybe. Now, maybe is the vast majority of the people that are going to come out of your webinar. Most webinars converted anywhere from like 1 to 5%. And then maybe another 20% saying no. And then the rest, the lion's share of your leads, they're on the fence. So here is this fence. Now, here's our little customer right here. They're on the fence. And right now, they are wondering what side of the fence they want to jump on, the yes or the no. They've already gone through your webinar. They're on the fence, which means that we can start chucking things at them. Emails, videos, okay? Stuff like this, that as we chuck it at them, they begin to teeter. And eventually, if we chuck enough stuff at them, they fall over to the yes side, okay? And when they fall over, they now become a customer. So now, if you've spent $5 on a Facebook lead, you've got them to watch your webinar, and people said yes, and let's say that's now worth $7, you've made plus $2. Well, now, once you do this method, and you set up a system to continuously get people off the fence, maybe that $7 turns into $17, okay? And so now the value of this customer goes up because you're not only making sales in your main sequence, but you're making sales in your fence sequence, okay? And so now this becomes more profitable than it was. So you may be asking, okay, that's great, Dan, but what if I say the wrong thing? What if I give them the wrong content, and instead of falling off the fence to the yes side, they fall off the fence to the no side? Well, that can happen, and that can happen because you just may not know exactly what to say. And we help people every single week in our sold out courses program know what to say. We help them understand scale so they can map out a plan to scale, and so they can get their offer converting and prepped for actual scale. We help them with ad operations so they can come up with a constant supply of high converting ads so that when they're ready to spend a ton of money, they can do so profitably. And we help them with their nurturing so that they can put into full practice this nurture sequence to get them to purchase or book a call if it's a high ticket offer, whatever, so they can get more value out of their list. So they can take an average $5, if your average subscriber is worth $5, we want them to be worth $15. And the only way to do that is to take the vast majority of people that are on the fence and start knocking them off one by one. All right? So listen, if you're interested in any of this, and you would like help implementing it into your business, then I'd like to invite you to click the link below and book a call with my office. It's a free call. You'll click the link below, you'll answer a few questions about your business, and then you'll pick a time to talk to our team. And we're gonna do two things. We're gonna look at your business, and we're gonna try to find out what the actual problem is. And if it's a problem we can solve, we'll map out a plan of action and show you how we can help you. All right? And once we show you how we can help you, if you like it and it seems like we're a good fit to work together and you want help, then we'll show you what that looks like and you can decide to become a part of it or not. No pressure. But either way, you will get a lot of value out of this call because you're going to find out, what's wrong. Talk to you soon and can't wait to see your success.